You said you really wanted to, not hesitate as far as addressing the whole Alcee Hastings situation. And it's not about Alcee. It's actually about the way the Alcee situation has been handled by the Broward establishment, I guess is the way you could put it.
Yeah. So this is something for people who are not from South Florida. Congressman Hastings has been a fixture in Florida politics for, I think, 50 years, 60, 70 years, forever. And so he is definitely basically like congressional royalty down here. And he died recently. He was 84, I believe. I can't do the math. Yes. And was sick for a couple of years. And so he died. And so now all of the creatures are going to come out of the woodwork to run for a seat that none of them had the balls to challenge him in the first place. Because when these people sit there, they sit there. Alcee might have been great as a representative in his earlier days and really fought the good fight. He did support Medicare for all. That's all good. But he had stage 4 pancreatic cancer and then kept deciding to run. And I feel like that's holding on to power just a little too long instead of passing the torch. And in the meantime, it has already started where the shenanigans are who's going to fill that seat. And so, of course, I put SoFlo's hack newspaper already promoting their establishment favorites. And by the way, noticeably absent from their establishment favorites is the one person who had the balls to run against him when he was an incumbent.
Who's not an establishment person.
Right, correct. Sheila Cherfilus-McCormick ran against him in the primary in 18 and in 20. She did really well in 20. And she has been working for that seat. And meanwhile, not one of these happy-faced people had the balls to do anything, because there is this sort of culture in certain districts, like the person sitting there gets to decide who they want to bequeath their seat to. And sure as form, as of today, it looks like Alcee's family is supporting Dale Holness to come in and have that seat bequeathed to him. So this is how this works, which will now open a chain of events for Dale Holness's seat on the commission. And he'll bequeath that to whoever the next in line person is. And none of these people challenge power. All they do is just toe the line and wait their turn. And it disgusts me to no end. And so hence my who will be anointed graphic.
Yeah, unfortunately, the power structures in Broward have been in place for decades and decades. And, Dale has been a city commissioner. He's been the mayor. He's also got a very big real estate sort of empire, if you will. So when that happens, you're talking about shoring up as much support as you possibly can. So if in the event an opportunity is presented to you, it makes it a lot easier to simply, it's almost like you're on the ladder and you only have to go up one rung. Whereas anybody who is attempting to, to ascend or to possibly, rise above you, they're going 4, 5, 6 blocks below that have to climb up that ladder.
Yeah. So, and there is definitely this attitude of people need to wait their turn and it's not your turn yet. And it's really like a monarchy. And there's several districts here that kind of run like that. And it's really, it's quite disgusting actually, because we shouldn't be in a monarchy. But our friend Christine Olivo, who ran against Frederica Wilson in 20 in the general, had gone up and introduced herself to her very friendly at an event. And Frederica was less than gracious and basically told her that where does she get off not waiting her turn? Right. And that's not who's going to fill her seat. So there is definitely an attitude of we get to pick our successor.
Yeah. And again, this is, like I said, this is one of the reasons why a lot of people are turned off to politics. It's one of the reasons why they don't want anything to do with it. And they see it as, well, everything in politics is all about an establishment infrastructure that is built over time. And, they crush their enemies. I mean, look, there's nobody who basically challenges these guys. And John is right. The same thing will likely happen with Kamala if she, is either the VP or, dare I say, even the president leading into the 2024 election. And so because we don't have term limits, we are in the type of situation where if you are going to challenge power, then everyone is going to come after you with everything they have. Unfortunately, when you ran for Congress, there was what you would call a fraudulent slate card that was put out on behalf of numerous candidates. They were being put in people's mailboxes, which again is illegal. And
oh, please. We've since found out how they ballot harvest.
Sure. And so,
the jig is up, people. We know exactly how it's done. Just nobody really cares to do anything about it.
Unfortunately, Mr. Holness presents another obstacle if you were to run again, should he get to Congress, because then he'll really be arm in arm with Debbie Wasserman Schultz. And this is what people do. It's not about—
He was already an impediment, so sure. Only just based on the finances alone, it wouldn't matter either way. And that's all about the money.
Correct, it is. That's a fiduciary relationship. That's
absolutely
what it's always been, and that's kind of how most politics is, to be honest. I mean, when Wasserman Schultz was running to be the chair of the Appropriations Committee, unbelievable to even think that was possible.
Hilarious.
One of the if you were to listen to any of I think she got like 75 congressional representatives to vote for her. Now, of course, she lost in a landslide, but that's not really the point. The point is the people who ultimately ended up running, or the people who ended up supporting her, I should say.
Oh, God.
The thing that they would always say, what would they always say? Debbie's great at fundraising. Debbie's great at putting money in the coffer. She really helped my race. This is legal bribery is basically what this is. Because it's not a question of, are you really doing anything to help the community? So as it relates to Congressional District 20 here in Florida, and who would be the right person to fill that seat, it should be a race about ideas. It should be a race about who would be the best person to represent Congressional District 20. What it is ultimately going to be, unfortunately, especially if Mr. Holness decides that he is going to run for the seat, which we both agreed that he would, they're just going to try to clear the field. They don't really want a primary. They don't want any type of challenge, and they certainly do not want any type of mudslinging or actual campaigning going on.
No, they don't really. They just want to keep the succession. It's just a chain of succession, none of which services the actual people, but so be it. Yeah, I mean, this isn't a here nor there as to who I think it should be, more as just how it disgusts me how the system works to sort of like bequeath that seat. And I knew that's exactly how it would be. I'm not remotely surprised, and yet there it is. Thanks for watching. If you want to support our mission to transform politics into service, please like this video, subscribe, follow us on social media, and consider joining our Patreon, where you'll get early access to our interviews as well as other exclusive content. Links are in the description. Peace out.